Scientific discovery and scientific knowledge have been achieved only by those who have gone in pursuit of it without any practical purpose whatsoever in view. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter. A scientific truth does not triumph by convincing its opponents and making them see the light, but rather because its opponents eventually die and a new generation grows up that is familiar with it. Far-sighted theologians are now working to mine the eternal metal from the teachings of Jesus and to forge it for all time. An important scientific innovation rarely makes its way by gradually winning over and converting its opponents. What does happen is that the opponents gradually die out. Science cannot solve the ultimate mystery of nature. And that is because, in the last analysis, we ourselves are a part of the mystery that we are trying to solve. Anybody who has been seriously engaged in scientific work of any kind realizes that over the entrance to the gates of the temple of science are written the words, "Ye must have faith." I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. The pioneer scientist must have a vivid intuitive imagination, for new ideas are not generated by deduction, but by artistically creative imagination. We have no right to assume that any physical laws exist, or if they have existed up until now, that they will continue to exist in a similar manner in the future. As a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, I can tell you as a result of my research about atoms this much: there is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particle of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter. There can never be any real opposition between religion and science. For the one is the complement of the other. Every serious and reflective person realizes, I think, that the religious element in his nature must be recognized and cultivated if all the powers of the human soul are to act together in perfect balance and harmony. And indeed, it was not by accident that the greatest thinkers of all ages were deeply religious souls. Science enhances the moral value of life, because it furthers a love of truth and reverence love of truth, displaying itself in the constant endeavor to arrive at a more exact knowledge of the world of mind and matter around us, and reverence, because every advance in knowledge brings us face to face with the mystery of our own being. The man who cannot occasionally imagine events and conditions of existence that are contrary to the causal principle, as he knows it will never enrich his science by the addition of a new idea. Again and again the imaginary plan on which one attempts to build up order breaks down, and then we must try another. This imaginative vision and faith in the ultimate success are indispensable. The pure rationalist has no place here. As a physicist who devoted his entire life to sober science, to the study of matter, I am sure that I am free from the suspicion of being considered a zealot. And so, according to my research of the atom, I say this: there is no matter in itself. All matter arises and exists only through a force that vibrates the atomic particles and holds them together to form the tiniest solar system of the universe. However, since there is no intelligent force or eternal power in the entire universe, mankind has not been able to invent the much-anticipated perpetuum mobile. We must accept a conscious, intelligent mind behind this force. This spirit is the cause of all matter. Before an experiment can be performed, it must be planned. The question to nature must be formulated before being posed. Before the result of a measurement can be used, it must be interpreted. Nature's answer must be understood properly. These two tasks are those of the theorist, who finds himself always more and more dependent on the tools of abstract mathematics. Of course, this does not mean that the experimenter does not also engage in theoretical deliberations. The foremost classical example of a major achievement produced by such a division of labor is the creation of spectrum analysis by the joint efforts of Robert Bunsen, the experimenter, and Gustav Kirchhoff, the theorist. Since then, spectrum analysis has been continually developing and bearing ever richer fruit. Every hypothesis in physical science has to go through a period of difficult gestation and parturition before it can be brought out into the light of day and handed to others, ready-made in scientific form, so that it will be, as it were, foolproof in the hands of outsiders who wish to apply it. Experimenters are the shock troops of science. An experiment is a question which science poses to nature, and a measurement is the recording of nature's answer. But before an experiment can be performed, it must be planned. The question to nature must be formulated before being posed. Before the result of a measurement can be used, it must be interpreted. Nature's answer must be understood properly. These two tasks are those of theorists, who find himself always more and more dependent on the tools of abstract mathematics. Hitherto, the principle of causality was universally accepted as an indispensable postulate of scientific research, but now we are told by some physicists that it must be thrown overboard. The fact that such an extraordinary opinion should be expressed in responsible scientific quarters is widely taken to be significant of the all-round unreliability of human knowledge. This indeed is a very serious situation. Modern physics impresses us particularly with the truth of the old doctrine, which teaches that there are realities existing apart from our sense perceptions, and that there are problems and conflicts where these realities are of greater value for us than the richest treasures of the world of experience.